Hey creative friends, welcome to my channel. And in this video I want to do a quick talk about when your canning jar seals but didn't seal. And I actually recently took part in an annual workshop we have every year where we do tuna canning, and it's really cool because people come and we provide the tuna and all the stuff. They take the workshop, they actually can tuna, we do the pressure canning and everything there, and they go home with a jar. And generally there's, we buy enough tuna, there's usually maybe a couple jars left over, and we do that as like a buffer in case somebody's jar didn't work out or one of the jars breaks or whatever. But anyway, I was kind of excited because at the end of our workshop we had 3 jars left over. 2 sealed, 1 didn't. And it was pretty cool because I could put them next to each other and do the sound for you. I did a long time ago, but I think it was kind of incorporated in a video. I don't remember. But I wanted to make this specifically about when your canning jar technically seals but isn't sealed. So you'll see in the video that I did that the canning jar, actually the lid was attached. It was on there. You would have had to take it off like a standard canning jar would. It even has the little button was down. So technically you would think it was sealed, but I'm going to show you how you can tell if it's not. So, and you should do this with every canned item that you take off your pantry shelf. You tap it and you listen for the sound, but luckily in this video I was able to actually do that so that you can hear the sound and know what you're listening for. But why would a canning jar seal but not seal? So of course it could be lid failure, but we're really using 4 jars lids, and I've yet to have a 4-jar lid failure. So more than likely tuna is an oily fish, and you have to take vinegar and wipe the rim. If you have just a small part, you want to wipe it good, because what can happen is if there's just a wee bit of oil on there or a little piece of food, whether you're doing jams, jellies, produce, meat, vegetables, who cares? If there's just even a tiny bit of food on there, what can happen is the majority of the lid can get hot enough, and there can be kind of enough suction or the vacuum that's created when the air is expelled and the product cools off and the lid gets stuck down, but that little tiny piece can let just enough air in that it doesn't seal, but the lid is down and the little button can pop down. That can happen. So after you put your jars out of their canner, whether it's boiling water or pressure canning, and you set them until they're completely cool, you go and tap on the lids. If one of the lids is not sealed, but kind of sealed, you have 24 hours to reprocess that. And there's always seems to be questions of people like, how can you leave food out for 24 hours and then reprocess it and it's not going to kill you because it's been out on the counter for 24 hours? Well, I was kind of in a virtual meeting thing, and I asked this question. And really what happens is in the jar, it is processed, and basically the process kills so much of everything that's in the jar, bad stuff, germs, bacteria, whatever. It kills it all to the point that when it's in that jar with really very little air, whatever, even if there's some air, but the air inside, the whole jar has been processed to a point that it would take so long for the new bacteria to get in there and then to grow to a point that would be bad. So there's your 24 hours, because if you process it at, say you're going to do 40 minutes in boiling or in a pressure canner, you've killed everything. So by the time there's any bacteria that gets in the jar and then it grows to a dangerous level, you have all of that time to reprocess. So that's why you can reprocess something and do it. Take whatever it is, open it. You want to never reuse the same lid. Open the jar unless you're using it like for dry dehydrated foods or whatever. Just don't recan with that lid. But wipe the rim really good. Put it in there. And would you do it for 1 or 2 jars? No. Take them and put them in your fridge and use them in the next couple days for meals. But if you really have like a whole bunch of them, you're like, I didn't wipe the rims on any of that tuna and they're all oil and like 8 of them or 5 of them didn't work. Just redo them, put them back in the canner and reprocess them. Now, if you don't have enough jars to fill the canner, you know, those canners kind of shake. Boiling water bounces them all over the place, but even the pressure canners will shake, so you'll want to put some spacer jars in there. Take the opportunity to can some water and put the water on your shelves with your dehydrated foods. That way, you know you've got it in an emergency. So there's that. So I want to look and make sure, you know me with my notes. Why didn't it seal? Sealing doesn't seal. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the little bit of the video that I did at the workshop so that you can see the sounds of the sealed but not sealed tuna. Okay, so these are 3 cans of tuna that were done in a workshop, and one of them did not seal, and this is a perfect opportunity to help people know what it sounds like between something that doesn't seal and something that doesn't. Go ahead. Okay. Clearly those have a high-pitched ting, and this is a thumper. So that one did not seal. So if you ever need to have a reference, this video would be a perfect reference for you to know the difference in the sounds.
And this is down.
And this is down. Yeah, this is actually, the button has gone down on this one. But, hear that? You can tell. There you go. Thank you. Okay, I hope you heard the sounds. Now, before you went to the video, I said you could see the sounds. We know that that's not true. So I hope you were able to hear the sound that you would look for. And I also say it's a good idea once a year to go through your pantry. Like, I'll go through my pantry once a year, take the jars that need to be used and move them to the front. And I will literally stand there and just tap every jar. And maybe once in a while, I'll find one at the back that has lost its seal. I'll hear that thumpy noise, and I will take that out. And really, it happens rarely. Like, if you're following the proper process, you're wiping your rims really good, you are using good quality lids, and you're not tightening your band down so tight that the lid buckles, you shouldn't have to worry about a lot of fails. But what you can do is just use the food, put it back, either reprocess it, put it in your fridge, and think, well, that's going to be dinner tomorrow night. So it's fine. It'll happen, and at least there's a workaround. Either eat it or reprocess it. So you're not going to lose food. And honestly, right now, I have to say, over the years that I built my pantry, I'm so happy right now that I have built that pantry, because it's not the end of the world, but I'm sure relying on my pantry quite a bit. So I hope you guys are all on your journey to building a good pantry. And now you know what to listen for when your lid seals but isn't sealed. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.